Here are our math notes for today. So first of all, because yesterday we did the fifth thing, today is going to be the sixth thing we are doing for chapter 6. Now just a reminder that you will hand in your notes after or at the end of this chapter, so you should be taking all the notes that I am taking. Today we're going to be estimating our quotients. And remember that it is 12, 11, 19. If you would like, you can sure put your name on it, but you do not have to. Because once you staple all these notes together, I will know, hopefully, if you put your name on the front, whose notes they are. Okay? All right. So today we're estimating quotients, which means we are still kind of dealing with multiplication. However, it's going to be division. So remember, that's just the opposite of multiplication. So let's do the very first example. Miss Glover buys 2 kites for a total of $15.18. If each kite costs the same, about how much did each kite cost? Explain why your answer is reasonable. All right, so she bought 2 kites, and her total was $15.18. Okay, so we already know the total. Normally, if we were doing multiplication, we would be trying to find the total. But today, since we're doing quotients and we're doing division, we are not trying to find the total. We already know what it is. So I'm going to do where I just estimate one of the numbers instead of both, because I think 2 is a pretty easy one to come by. So I'm going to keep that as a 2. Sorry. Whoa. You want to focus with me there? There you go. Much better. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and estimate my $15.18. Remember, today you are not doing the actual answer. You're going to go ahead and do an estimate, okay? So I'm going to estimate this to, let's just say $16. Because you know what? Off the top of my head, I already know I think 16 and 2 are pretty compatible numbers, okay? So these are what we call compatible numbers, which basically just means that they are easy to multiply or divide or whatever it may be. They're compatible, they're easier to do together. So remember that in division, my biggest number always goes first. So I'm going to go ahead and do 16 divided by 2. So basically what I'm asking is what times 2 is going to give me 16. Okay? Off the top of my head, I know that that is going to be 8. So it's going to be 8. Now don't forget your label because it's $8 because that's how much each kite is going to cost. So, to explain why your answer is reasonable, 2 times 8 gives you 16, which is pretty close to that 15.18. Remember, this means we estimated. So since these two numbers are pretty close together, I can say that my answer is definitely reasonable. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead and do another example. I know that was just the first problem, so remember that we might do multiple ways with these, and it's okay if you do it differently than a neighbor because we are estimating. So this is where we get into, as long as it's close, we can count it as correct. So example number 2 says 3 friends went out to dinner. The total cost of their meals was $32.57. If the friends split the bill evenly, about how much will each person pay? Explain why your answer is reasonable. So, we have 3 friends who went out to dinner. Yum. Okay, and their total cost was $32.57. Okay, so again, I'm going to look for compatible numbers. That is a really easy way to, I almost said multiply. I meant that is an easy way to estimate if you use compatible numbers. We are constantly trying to use compatible numbers in estimating because it makes our lives a heck of a lot easier. So let's go ahead and do, I'm going to keep 3 friends as 3. Okay. Sorry, it keeps not focusing. All right. And a number that works really well with 3, I think, is 33. And that's pretty close to $32.57. Okay, so now remember, in division, my bigger number always goes first. So I've got 33 divided by 3, or you could write it as 33 divided by 3. Remember, whichever way makes sense to you. I personally like this because I like to put my little X to remind myself that I'm taking this number times this number in order to get this number. But if this makes more sense to you, please do it this way. All right, so 33 divided by 3, or basically what times 3 is going to give me 33? I know that that is 11. Okay, so my answer is going to be that each friend paid about $11. Remember, this isn't the actual answer. This is about, okay? I can say that my answer is reasonable because $32.57 is very close to 33. So I know that my answer is reasonable since these two numbers are pretty close together. All right, hopefully you kind of are looking at this and saying, all right, I understand this. If not, if you think you're at like a 1 or a 2, maybe you should pause the video, rewatch some parts if you need to, or just come talk to Mrs. Jenkins. And in fact, here, before you move on, here's one of your "Are you actually watching the video?" tests. You're going to go ahead and I want you to write pause. Are you watching? You are writing this down. If so, write what level of understanding you are at. Write all of this, please. If you just do what it asks, I'll know you're not actually watching. You are just maybe watching the video without sound, which not a very good call. Okay, so remember our scale goes from 1 through 4. You don't actually have to write this part. This part you can just put your 1, 2, 3, or 4. That way when you come show me your answers for your practice problems, I'll know from here where you're sitting, okay? Remember, 4 doesn't mean you actually have to teach the class, so don't worry about that. 4 just means that you could if you absolutely had to, okay, because you understand it so well. All right, remember 1 is, I still need some help. I don't quite get it. Anyway, hopefully we have nobody at 1 or 2, but if we do, that's all right. All right, let's go ahead and try some practice problems. I'm still going to do these with you, and then I'll have you do a couple on your own that you have to come show Mrs. Jenkins before you can move on. So the first one, let's do together. $19.50 divided by 5. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I want you guys to just follow along. And then in the next one, I'm going to more, well, I guess I'll be doing them all on my own. But anyway, all right. So 1950, I'm going to go ahead and change to 20. Because I know that that works really well with 5. And in fact, 5 times 4, I know, is going to give me $20. So I know that this is $4. Don't forget your label. All I had to do in that one was change one number. I didn't even change my 5. I just used those compatible numbers. So try to remember that throughout your homework, that you are trying to get compatible numbers. Okay, that's what you want. All right, number 2. Remember, if I'm going too fast for you, please pause. That's the joy of these self-paced days, is that you can pause me, go back, etc., etc. Okay, so don't feel bad if you have to go back. Nobody's going to know. All right, number 2. Let's do, it's $47.25 divided by 25. All right, if I'm looking at this one, I'm thinking, since it's 25, I always like to think of 25 in terms of quarters. So I know that $47 doesn't go like right into quarters, but I know that $50 does. So if I have 50 divided by 25, I know that's $2. Okay? So again, all I did was get compatible numbers. Is 47 close to 50? Yeah, they're in the same wheelhouse. I didn't just say 48, okay? You don't just have to round up just because that's all you've learned. Make it so that it's easier on you, okay? If somebody else did it differently, that's okay. As long as you got an answer close to 2, awesome, okay? Remember that in this one, we're not necessarily looking for exact answers. We are looking for, is it close to it? Does it make sense? Is it reasonable? If it is, cool. All right, last one. Number 3. 16.8 divided by 4. So, in this one, again, keeping my 4 the same, but I'm going to go ahead and round my 16.8 down to 16. Because 16 and 4 are compatible numbers. Now, I know there's an 8, but we are not following our rounding rules right now. I do not have to round this to 17. I don't even have to round it to 20. I can keep it as 16 if that's what works well with my 4. So I know 16 divided by 4 is going to give me 4. So after that, once you get them to compatible numbers, it should be easy problems for you. Okay? Remember, division is just the opposite of multiplication. So don't freak out just because of that little division sign. Okay? I want you all to draw this. He's not scary. I promise. All right, let's keep going. One thing I do want you guys to write before you go on to your practice problems. Remember, anything Mrs. Jenkins writes, you are writing. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Embrace your struggle. Or hashtag struggle time. So I would like you to please write that. You could also put the hashtag the struggle is real. I didn't put all my words together, sorry. Okay. This should all be together. I know how a hashtag looks, sorry. Okay, so hashtag struggle time, hashtag the struggle is real. Remember we kind of talked about this the other day. So I just kind of wanted to make note of what is struggle time. What is it? It's when you get stuck. And again, you're writing this all with me. If you need to pause me, that's a-okay. When you get stuck. When real learning happens. Remember, I told you the other day, this is usually when learning is happening. So yeah, it stinks at the time, but you know what? When you get through it, it's awesome because then you are learning. Okay? This is usually the first part of your work time. Because usually when you get to work on a new concept all by yourself, it's kind of the time when you might struggle the most. Okay? All right. I love this one. When the teacher won't help yet. Some of you have already experienced this, but sometimes if you come up to me and you say, Mrs. Jenkins, I don't know how to do this. Normally, if you don't have anything written down on your paper, I won't help you. Okay? That's not because I'm trying to be mean. It's not because I don't like you. It's not because I don't want to help you. But it's because I know that sometimes you need to get through your struggle in order to get it yourself. Because if I just show you how to do it, you might not be learning. You might just be understanding it. Well, not even understanding it, but just seeing how Mrs. Jenkins does it. That doesn't necessarily help you if you don't understand how to do it yourself. So I'll usually have you write something before I help you. So that's kind of our next part. What do you do when you struggle? Okay, one thing you can do, or one thing you should do, stay calm. I know it's easy to get frustrated, okay, but don't. Be positive. If you are negative, okay, it's not going to help you, I promise, okay? So stay calm and be positive. That's the first thing. Maybe look ahead to the next problem. See if, you can get that one first. Maybe you're just struggling on the one. Okay? Don't get hung up on one problem if you're struggling on it. Okay? If you need to, move on to another problem. See if you can come back. Sometimes it helps to come back with a clear head after you aren't so frustrated with that one problem. Okay? Do one part at a time. Don't try to do 50 parts at once if that's making you struggle, okay? Try to do just one part at a time. Then you can really see, too, where you're struggling. Which point are you struggling at? Use resources. Maybe refer back to a video Mrs. Jenkins made. Or maybe if you go to like Khan Academy, okay? That's a great one. Math notes are a good one. Okay? If Mrs. Jenkins lets you, talk with a classmate. Maybe not even in class. Maybe you're struggling on a problem and somebody else is struggling too. Okay, maybe try it together. Okay, that's a great one. And finally, here's what you don't do. Okay, pout, whine, or cry. First of all, those aren't 5th grade behaviors, okay? Pouting, whining, crying, okay? You guys can get through your struggle. You don't need to cry or whine. We're not in kindergarten anymore, okay? Another one we see a lot of is running away by going to the bathroom, getting some water, or needing to go just anywhere. I know it's tough, but try to stay where you are. Also, just sitting there, I promise you, this is not going to help you. Just sitting and looking at the problem, the knowledge isn't all of a sudden going to come to you if you don't embrace your struggle and try, okay? So I hope this is in your notebook. This is going to be one of the things Mrs. Jenkins checks for, is that you have all of this written down. And now here are your practice problems. Let's do, we're just going to write practice on this one with a little exclamation point. Again, you know that's going to be part of your checking, so pay attention. All right, I want you to do $7.92 divided by 6. And let's do 2 more. Sorry, I'm trying to decide which ones I want to do. The second one can be $15.47 divided by 7. And the third one, let's do $28.20. That's right, all these are money, so divided by 6. Okay, try these and then please come bring up your paper to Mrs. Jenkins to check. Don't forget your labels or I will count them as incorrect. This needs to be done before you move on to your homework. Remember that today I will be check marking if you come up to me and show me. Otherwise, if I see you on your homework, you're going to do extra homework. So don't do that. All right, get started.